everyone, you're listening to Zen The Podcast with me, Sirg.
And me, Zenobia.
And we're here on episode 3 of Zen The Podcast. Yes. And we are here with our guest of honor. You guys may remember him from episode 9 where we talked about everything gay. And you may have seen him on the season 1 finale video. He's back. Nasir.
Hey everybody.
Yes, welcome back. Tell everyone about yourself if you don't know you already.
As you already know, my name's Nasir. I'm a fresh 19. I work. I go to Bowie State University. My major, I'm a criminal justice major with a focus in social justice on the pre-law route. Okay. My future goal is to be a criminal defense attorney with my own private practice. You can find me on social media. My Instagram is KVNGNAS1. My Twitter is NASALI0129. My Snapchat is KVNG_NAS1. Follow me, tweet me, snap me if you want. And that's really it.
All right.
Okay, so the theme for today's podcast is everything 80s.
Yeah. Totally tubular.
So, I'm like totally excited. Gab me with a spoon. We're going to be talking about, of course, everything 80s. And we're also going to do this fun little Guess That 80s slang game.
Love that.
Yeah, so stay tuned after this.
And we are back. You are listening to Zen The Podcast with our guest, Nasir.
Yes.
And the theme for today is everything 80s.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First things first, Zen, talk to us. For those who don't know anything about 80s like myself, what was it like in the 80s?
The 80s? Well, I'm not saying that I was born in the 80s or that I was a child of the 80s, right, but I have a very strong fascination with the 1980s. Mm-hmm. It was a time of great music, great movies, especially John Hughes movies. They were so good. Fashion, definitely. Like, everything was, like, vibrant and bold and, like, so close to modern, but still, like, a hint of vintage, if that makes sense. It was just a different time. Like, before technologies and cell phones were, like, bricks. Literally, they were, like, bricks. They just invented the car phone and stuff.
Putting them in beamers.
Yeah, it was such a different time. Yeah. That's what I think of when I hear like 80s.
Yeah, I did my research last night. I saw that it was the rise of Madonna.
I love her.
Yeah, I love her. It was the start of the Breakfast Club did their movie. It was a movie,
I think it was 1985.
Yeah, it was 85.
Then Vanessa Williams became the first black woman to win Miss America in 1984.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was the death of John Lennon in 1980.
Sad time.
Yeah. CNN was born. The first 24-hour news broadcast. It was the AIDS epidemic. Yeah.
Epidemic.
What? Did I say it wrong?
He said academic.
Epidemic. Crisis.
Okay. It was also the rise of hip hop with NWA from 1986 to 1991. Yes. It was also the death of Bob Marley. Also the first PC ever made in 1981.
God bless the PCs.
For real.
Motorola released its first mobile phone in America in 1983.
Love a mobile phone.
It started out the whole
Brick.
evolution
Yeah.
of cell phones. Also, Thriller. Michael Jackson released Thriller
Stand that.
in 1983.
Classic.
It was also the fall of the Berlin Wall, 1980.
Okay.
But also the stock market crashed and started Black Monday happened
Love that.
in the 80s. So yeah. so that being said, how 80s do you think you are? This is an open question from scale of 1 to 10.
Solid 8.
11.
And 8 and 3 quarters.
11.
I say 8 and 3 quarters because there's certain genres of music from the 80s that I'm not very well versed in.
Mm-hmm.
I could be, but I'm not. But I say like a solid 8.5, pushing a 9. Like 8.5, 8 and 3 quarters.
Okay.
Pushing a 9. No, I'm a 9. How about a 9?
Okay. And Zen said 11.
11.
Okay.
I love the 80s. Like, honestly, I used to live my life like I was in the 80s. When I was in middle school, I was bullied for this, by the way. Like, the way I'm dressed now is how I dressed in middle school, and people would roast me like a duck.
Oh, wow.
And then suddenly, 80s fashion came back, and people started wearing what I'm wearing now, and now it's all cool.
By the way, you will see her outfit in our next video, in the visual video, where we're going to try not to sing to classic 80s music.
I will fail. I promise you I will fail.
So stay tuned for that. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a 11. I really love, especially the music. I feel like this decade had so much good music.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would say I'm like a 2.
Oh.
I give myself a 2 because I love the music. I listened to the music last night. Of course, I have a playlist of everything 80s music, and I was like, oh yeah, I love this song. So I love the music, style, the way they dress. I don't know. The way I dress is very universal. No, I wouldn't say that. It's like my style is all over the place. I can dress one way sometime, I dress another way another time. So I can't really compare my style to the 80s. But I don't know.
Well, you wear fingerless gloves, right?
Yeah.
That's 80s.
A thing.
And I wear leg warm. I have a list right here. I actually wrote it. What makes me... I will get into that in a second. But yeah, what makes us 80s kids? If we of course we're not 80s kids, but...
Wish I was.
What are the things that make us 80s?
Well... I still use some of the slang.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And the okay. I know you guys are going to think this is very minuscule to say, but the windbreakers. I love a good 80s vintage windbreaker. Mm-hmm. Like with the bright colors, the hood, the drawstring, the pocket in the front. No, forget about just the windbreaker. The whole sweatsuit fashion, the whole thing, the sunglasses, the music, just the pop culture from the 80s. Is just what I thrive on. Like, I remember I went through this whole phase where I listened to no, current music and only listened to 80s music. So that was Whitney Houston all day, Prince all day, Blondie all day, Heart all day, everyone all day, Rick Astley, Dead or Alive, Pete Burns when he left Dead or Alive, all of it. That's just...
Imagine listening to music, just listen to that music, and watching those movies and TV shows. You're gonna literally envision yourself in that period. Like exactly.
I do.
That's a magical
I have
moment.
a really bad habit of trying to compare my life to 80s movies. So like when something happens, I'll be like, oh, this reminds me of Pretty in Pink. Like I'm Andy and they're my ducky and what like oh god. It's it's a horrible habit, but I feel like the 80s movies is what would make me like an 80s kid. Because I grew up on 80s movies because my mom felt like movies from today were a little too risky. But what's funny is the rating systems were way different in the 80s. So you have movies like 16 Candles that was rated PG, but they have a whole shower scene with a naked woman. Like completely nude.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was still PG. Now I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm saying today that movie would probably been like rated R or something.
Or MA. Yeah. Anything else that make you an 80s kid? I know you have a lot. of things that make you 80.
Well, of course, the music, like, just even listening to 80s music just makes me feel like I'm transported back in time. Like, oh, it's like one of the most nostalgic feelings I've ever felt.
So if you was given an opportunity to go back in time, it would be the 80s.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would, well, if I'm financially stable, because, you know, that was
a hard time.
Stock market.
You know, Reagan. But that's a different topic. But yeah, financially stable, I probably would travel back in time to the 80s.
Okay. I made my list of what makes me an 80s kid.
That's a short list.
It is actually 5 things. My cell phone I consider as big, I guess.
Well, it's a plus.
Yeah, it's A plus, so it's somewhat big, so that's comparable. I love Space Invaders.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I wear leg warmers in the winter. I love leg warmers.
Leg warmers are very nice.
I love a good leg warmer.
Standard leg warmer.
Mm-hmm. I love Michael Jackson.
Who doesn't?
Mm-hmm. Back then they stand like everyone like.
We still do.
Yeah,
He's like.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a little ant.
And I love Back to the Future.
Oh my god.
That's my
movie.
Back to the Future is like one of my favorites. Ugh.
But yeah, so those are the things that make us 80s kids, and we will be back after the break. Okay, so we're back. You're listening to Zen the Podcast with our returning guest, Nasir.
Yeah.
Yes. Usually during this time, we do a segment called What Did You Find? Where we found things on social media or online that are relatable to today's overall theme, which is everything 80s. However, since we have our guests, we're going to play a little game we like to call, like, what does 80s lingo mean exactly? I went on liketotally80s.com. That's a website. We will also place the link in the description below so you can take it yourself and with friends as well. And I found a whole array of slang words and phrases that were said during that time. We're going to take turns reading the word/phrases, and the other players have to guess what the word/phrases mean. And and whoever has the most wrong have to sing a song right here, right now, and the song is the winner's choosing.
And it will be Sergio who's doing that.
We shall see. So first, our guest of honor, Nasir.
Okay.
Hold on, we should have a timer too.
Okay, I'll start the timer. How long do you want? 15 seconds? 30 seconds?
15 seconds. Well, 30 seconds.
Right. It's going to take Sergio a little while.
30 seconds.
Barf me out.
Is it like when you're... Wait, how many guesses do we have?
1 each. 2 each. Whatever, we can make a rule as we go
Okay. Let me know when I'm close. Like when something disgusts you.
Barf me out. Barf me out. Barf me out. This is like turn up.
Oh yeah, or get drunk.
Get
or
me
something.
drunk.
And both of y'all wrong.
Was I right the first time?
Would you say, like, disgust me? Yeah, you were.
Okay, so then let's go with that. Like,
Okay.
I guess that.
So I'll read the definition. A phrase used to react to a particularly offensive comment, remark, or piece of news, which can trace its use back to the very first time a Valley girl said, Janice is dating Steve? Like, barf me out.
Okay, so...
I was like, what are you doing?
I want me to just write it on there.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
So Zen got the point.
Yes, she did.
Of course.
Bark me out.
Okay, next.
Bark me out.
Bark me out. Bark me out.
Okay, Zen, you're next.
Ladies, next. Kurt.
Oh.
Okay. Let me know when we wanted to press start.
Y'all can start.
Okay, 30 seconds on the clock.
The word is bod.
Referring to your body.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay, so we both won.
Yeah.
With 16 seconds to spare.
Okay, thank you. All
Alright.
Start.
Okay.
Motor.
Like a ride. Or
like
driving
a drive.
somewhere.
Like
because they use that in Heather's.
Yeah, like, we have to motor. We have to motor to the store, motor to the drive-in, motor.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like a drive or ride. Or a ride.
Or getting someplace fast or something.
That's more right. So you can stop it. It's a verb. Motor mean go to go. Mean you're going somewhere.
So
I've got to motor.
Did I not say
to get
motor
home in time
to the drive-in? Motor to the store.
But that's not a definition.
How? I literally said when you have to go somewhere, like motor to the store.
Okay, I'll give you a point then.
I'm giving myself a point. One. Okay. 30 seconds on the clock. Word is, what's your damage?
What's your problem?
What's wrong with you? Like,
Sergio,
are
you must
you
have looked at that
stupid?
because that's literally what it says.
I didn't look at it.
Okay. So the definition, simply put, it's the phrase, what's your problem? Stuffed into a time machine and sent back to the era when Heather's ruled the box office. It can also be used to imply that someone else is an idiot for having a specific opinion or doing a certain thing. You like Wham, but not Tony Basil? What's your damage?
Right. I'll give you some points.
From a clock? Okay. Eat my shorts.
Is it similar to like eat my ass?
Suck my ass.
Like suck a dick or like fuck off?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you require more of a definition, but that's the closest we're gonna get.
Eat my shorts. That's like suck it. That's pretty much
what I said.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he's copying off of me, so he lost.
I get that point too.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You waited until I answered and then goes like suck me.
Because
no, you're gonna say because that is not fair.
No,
that is
because I'm not
Sergio,
bad at talking.
Sergio, you literally waited. You literally waited a whole 5 to 10 seconds after I answered to then answer.
No, I didn't. I was literally saying the same thing, but I can't talk as fast.
Okay, fine. We both get a point.
Thank you. Here you go.
Cheater.
Eat my shorts.
Suck my ass.
Suck my ass.
Suck my ass, little bitch.
Even, not even.
Like.
Okay. In a sentence,
What?
like that's like
even.
That's not even. Like
what? Not even.
Like. How do you even
how
do you even define like it's just,
okay, repeat it. It's even, not even.
Right.
Okay, like
when something's not even when something's not really true or not exactly.
You're doubtful of it. Like even, not even. Like not even.
Yeah.
Like Zenobia and me are dating. Even, not even. Are we close?
Okay, what would you say?
What would you get? Sergio.
What is your definition? Because
they're the same.
I'm looking for a specific word.
You're being difficult.
What?
We can't give you a certain word you're looking for.
We defined it as best as we could.
Okay, say it again. Go ahead.
When something is, I can't even use it without
it, but you
saying...
can't. It's like okay. You saw the Loch Ness monster outside. Even, not even, like
right.
like not
like
even,
it's not exactly.
It's like some BS. Like not even.
No. Or it's not exactly as something appears to see.
Okay. So a popular phrase used to disagree with someone, not quite rude, but meant to convey a strong opinion.
I did not say use it in a sentence.
Dude, your mom is totally hot. Not even. Even.
So we both get that point because we literally used it in a sentence a plethora of times.
And you said not even.
I said not exactly. Because that's the only thing I could think of.
My turn, bitches.
Wait, who's winning?
You guys. By 1 point.
It's okay, Sergio. You have
Wait, what time is it?
2:26.
Oh well.
Sergio, that means you lose.
Not even.
Yeah.
That means you lose.
Even.
That means you lose. So what that means is, Zenobia, what song do you want him to sing? Ooh. Sergio's not happy at the moment.
It had to be like 10 seconds.
What? Oh.
Because we have a whole...
And then we have a whole video to film.
Be
sure to
Tainted
catch that.
Love.
10 minutes, yeah. 10 seconds of me singing a song.
Tainted Love.
Songs that he knows.
That I know, sister.
Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Do,
I don't know how it starts.
Alright,
Never gonna give.
Never gonna give. So wrong with you. Alright. Okay, here's the part that's getting on me, because he's gonna sit here and act like we were all singing this song in the same room from start to finish. Liar.
I don't know how it goes. Never gonna give.
Never gonna give.
Oh my god.
Canceled, Zenobia. Canceled.
Oh my, okay. Never gonna give you. Wait, no. We're no strangers to love.
It's a bit faster than that, Sergio.
I'm trying to do his voice. You know the rules, and so do I. April commitments, what I'm thinking of. You gotta get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, but never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Okay.
That's enough of that.
And we'll be back after the break. We are back. You're listening to Zen The Podcast with me, Sirg.
And me, Zenobia.
And our returning guest of honor, Nasir.
Hello.
Yeah.
For more coverage and to get notified when our next episode will air, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Zen The Podcast. And thanks for the support.
Now we have made it to our topic of the day, which is 80s music and fashion.
Yes.
Fashion. Let's talk about it. Okay, so what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of 80s music?
Whitney Houston and Prince.
Okay. The Smiths and The Cure. Yes, I'm sorry. It's a part of the goth / alternative.
Pat Smith was her name?
Patti Smith.
Yes.
Ugh.
So, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of 80s music?
Whitney Houston, Prince. Zenobia said, what, the
Smiths and The Cure.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, and we can say Queen, too.
Yes.
The best. Honestly, the best.
I still haven't watched the movie. I need to watch the movie.
You do.
Sergio, we're going to punch you in your throat.
Yeah.
You really do. Because we've seen the movie at least 2 times, separately. 4 times combined. We saw it once together, and we both cried in the theater. And you know I don't cry, Sergio. You know I don't cry. All the time.
Okay.
All the time.
When I think of 80s music, I think, of course, Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm. Don't Google.
No, I'm not Googling. Go in my notes. Janet Jackson. Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah, they made the gay anthem. Well, the gay masturbation anthem.
Yes, Relax. Oh my god.
Yo, that song.
Depeche Mode.
Girl.
Depeche Mode.
Woo!
Everyone should be getting a little hot and bothered. Let's relax, guys. A little zesty over here.
Also, Wham, of course.
Yes.
Cher.
Oh my god, Aha.
Goodness, all the classics. Susie Sue.
Pat Benatar. Blondie. Cyndi Lauper.
Cindy.
Now, when you hear someone say, I listen to 80s music only, like, what is your opinion on that?
Well, honestly, that used to be me. I told you in middle school, that's all I would listen to, like 80s music. So I was always the teacher's pet because they could play music that I would like, and we could talk about things like that had to do with the 80s and when they were kids and what it was like. So I honestly, like, if someone were to say I only listen to 80s music, I'd be like, I support that.
Okay.
Also, we can't forget about Miss Sheila E.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. Like, who are your favorite 80s artists, do you think? Let me start first. Michael Jackson, Prince, Janet Jackson, Queen, Wham, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Cher, Madonna. Okay, go ahead.
I can't pick a favorite artist because I like them all for different things.
That's why I name a whole array of them.
Okay, so like, for example, I go to Prince for Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Purple Rain, Purple Rain.
Purple Rain,
Purple Rain. I go to Whitney Houston in the 80s if I want a real voice over a pop song. Because Whitney Houston, granted, she was a pop singer in the 80s, she could still out-sing 99.9% of the industry off of simple beats and simple lyrics.
That's tea.
No, that's just the truth. Think about it. She has such a strong voice on such simple songs. And, like, you know, I go to Sheila E. when I want that whole thing. Because Sheila E. did choreography, sang live, and played the drums. Played the mess out of some drums. And then I go to Rick Astley when I want some... So I guess I don't know. Never gonna give. It really just depends. But if I had to pick an overall favorite 80s artist,
by the way, no one's asking him to pick one. I would say artists, but you can.
Artists? Oh, an artist. Okay, fine.
I mean,
then we can do Sheila E. We can do Whitney. We can do Rick Astley. We can do. Did I say Prince yet? No. Prince. We can do MJ. We can do Aha, Wham, Queen. I still stand Queen.
Yeah, Queen. I forgot about them.
Oh, as well as Slick Rick. Slick
Children's
Rick.
Story.
I love Slick Rick. And we can do Biggie because Biggie came out in the late 80s. Late 80s, like last 2 years of the 80s. When did his first single release? I believe it was 88, 89.
Hold on.
Because remember, didn't he? Yeah, because he passed away in what? Late 90s?
Yeah.
Mid 90s, like 97 he passed away, right? Well, he was shot.
Yeah.
Another topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to figure out what year she came out.
Who?
Tina Marie?
Yeah.
Yes, oh my god, Tina Marie.
Okay. That's my girl.
My mom loves some Tina Marie.
You know, I never knew Tina Marie was white until a couple years ago.
I thought she was like Portuguese or something.
Well, I never. Well, then again, race really never mattered to me. You know that. So I didn't know, and then I was like, "Wow."
And Rick James, bitch.
Rick James.
How about you, Zen? Who are your favorite artists in the
80s? Oh, definitely the Smiths. Oh my god. If you ever want to listen to some sad but beautiful music, the Smiths is like poetry over like upbeat or alternative rock sound, but it's also like you can dance to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, there are no words. Like you have to listen to it. Joy Division. So I'm into like the alternative, like the subculture of the 80s, but Joy Division, you know, their sad songs and all of that. Gary Newman, I love a good synth electronic. He's the guy who did the little car song, the little I love that. Yeah, he did that. I love Gary Newman. Who else? There's so many.
Okay, so so what are your favorite 80s songs? Favorite songs. I have my list right here. A Little Respect from Ashore. That's my, like, every time I come on. Nasty from Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Period.
Thriller from Michael Jackson. The whole Purple Rain album of Prince. Relax from Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Relax.
I Want to Be Free from Queen. Everything She Wants from Wham.
Yes.
Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Wham. And If I Could Turn Back Time, Cher.
Oh.
Those are my favorites so far that I can think of right now. How about you guys?
I'm looking at my playlist that I have.
Yeah, I'm looking through my stuff now because I don't want to...
Oh, Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. Now, before people come for me, yes, the original lyrics in the song was very homophobic in one stanza because they did use the F word. I guess they were trying to say that the most popular people during the time were people who were like effeminate and androgynous, and they felt some type of way about it. When it was edited, they took that part out. So I listened to the edited version of it.
Disclaimer.
Right. But I like the music. Like, it's a perfect combination of like guitar and then drums and then synth, and then they had Sting singing some of the background vocals. So is it problematic? Yes. Is the music, like the instruments combined, good? Yes. So before people, that song is horrible and needs to do that. Edited version only. I put that disclaimer out there. Also, There's a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths. Poetry. It's so good. With the best line from the song to me is the one where it was like, if a 10-ton truck kills the both of us to die by your side, well, the pleasure and the privilege is mine. That is,
wow.
It's so beautiful. It touches the heart in me.
Kurt
Cobain.
Was 90s,
that was
more
90s,
so.
yeah.
My apologies.
It's okay.
I was over here thinking about it.
Oh. What else do I listen to? A lot of this is the Smiths. Oh, Tarzan Boy by Baltimore. That's like one of my guilty pleasure songs.
What's his name?
Baltimore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good song. Oh, I forgot about the Cars. Drive is like that song that I always pictured. If my life was an 80s movie, that would be the music that plays when I get the love interest person.
And you sitting in the car with the roof off and your hair through in the wind.
And we're parked in some vague place and finally let me stop.
I can envision that. A road trip like
In
that.
Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. Any Genesis song really. Like, those are some of my favorites. Those are the ones that come to mind.
Well,
Okay.
so I had to go to my playlist as well. So number one is I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston.
I don't have any Whitney Houston songs. Every song
Big
of Whitney
fan.
Houston, bitch.
Okay, so that's number one.
I stand Whitney Houston.
And then you have Take On Me by Aha. Call Me by Blondie.
Okay. Oh. Call me anytime. Call me.
What else?
That's a really good lip sync on Drag Race. Oh my god. That song.
West End Girls.
Pet Shop Boys. Yes!
That's my guilty pleasure.
I love that
song.
Eastern Boys and West End
End
Girls.
Girls.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that song.
Uptown Girl. That.
Uptown Girl.
And then Wake Up Before You Go by Wham. Any song by Queen from the 80s.
Radio
Radio Gaga. Radio Goo Goo. Radio Gaga.
What else?
We're just gonna end up singing songs.
We're all gonna fail that challenge. Oh, Tears
my
for
God.
Fears songs.
What else? I'm sorry. Because I have a whole playlist. Let me try to think.
David Bowie.
Alone by Heart.
David Bowie.
Alone by Heart.
Alone
Most
makes me
definitely.
cry, bro.
Most definitely Alone by Heart.
Was David Bowie prominent in the
Yes,
80s?
he was.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that was one of his best. Yes.
Zenobia.
For those of y'all who don't know, I love David Bowie.
It's Raining Men.
Oh, yes.
Jesse's Girl. Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Kiss by Prince. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Kiss.
That's my
Okay, Whitney Houston, Where Do Broken Hearts Go? You don't really know that. And then Like a Virgin by Madonna.
I made it through the wilderness. Yes, girl.
I made it through. Okay.
So,
that's
So do you notice a difference between the music of today versus the music of the 80s?
Okay, the most evident is with hip hop. I will give. Okay.
Talk about it.
So what we gonna talk about real quick? We gonna get it like the Queen, Nicki Minaj says on her radio show. We gonna get into some things. So one thing I noticed is that
To freedom.
So in the 80s, things were rapped as if they were a lullaby. So you got Slick Rick, whatever. I can't remember any lyrics right now. But now you find that everyone was talking about something different. So if someone was rapping about a girl that they liked, that's what the song was about. And stuff like that. And it wasn't like, oh, shove my down her throat, make her swallow my children, make her babysit, make her da-da-da-da. It wasn't really objectifying women as much. And another thing I noticed is with women in hip-hop, especially in the 80s, if you weren't a Queen Latifah who was completely covered up and had a Black Power message, if you wanted to rap like the boys, you couldn't do that. You were shunned, as opposed to now. Now, hip-hop today, it's a very, very, very low standard. Very, very low. For example, if y'all don't know, now y'all know I like Danielle Bregoli. I mean, Bad Baby. She cool. Whoever writes for her is cool. However, she was never a rapper. That's never how she came up. And you have people who have been writing all their lives, actual writing, and you have someone like her who does not write ever. Oh, and then and another thing, in the 80s, if you didn't write your music, you were shunned upon. Like Milli Vanilli. They didn't write their music. They got their Grammys taken away. You have people who don't write their music and admit to not writing their music winning Grammys over people who do. Starting in the 80s, starting in the 90s, and moving on to today. You see that all the time. That's why I don't watch the Grammys. They're no longer credible to me. I feel like after the 90s, they were no longer credible. Once the 2000s hit, I don't care. I don't care. Anyone who won a Grammy from 2000 on, I don't really care. And I love Beyonce, but no. Her Grammys that she won in the 90s, great. But after that, no. And what else? Pop is definitely different. There's a different definition and standard for singers. So, for example, Whitney Houston was a pop singer originally. Now that's a voice. A voice.
Yes, it is.
And especially back then, if you couldn't sing, you just couldn't sing. and you play to your strengths. Like Madonna, she's not a very strong singer, but she played to her strengths.
Mm-hmm.
She knew not to try to go with. She knew to keep her. She didn't try to go in the sandbox with Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, and them. She knew to keep her butt in the sandbox with the whisper singers. And I love Madonna, but that's true. She knew her place, and you got to know your place in the music industry, and that's the main difference I see with music.
How about you, Zen?
I will say that the sound is a little bit different.
Less experimental.
I feel like, yeah, like today, it's like...
They all sound the same.
They all sound the same. Like, there's always, especially in trap, there's always that beat like...
Yeah, I don't listen to trap at
and I'm
all,
like, okay. But then in the 80s, you had like think about a simple beat with one note or two notes. Like, I keep thinking about cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Jacking the homies, clocking the hoes.
Like, it's amazing what you can get with like 2 and 3 notes and a simple beat.
Especially because at that time the tracks were different. Like you had to go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, like what you're saying is correct. Like I just feel like they were able to do so much
with so
little. Like, and it's crazy because in the 80s you had all of like these new synthesizers, and some people feel some type of way because they'll be like, well, in the 70s everything was all actually instrumental. I'm like, that's nice, but it still sounds like it's catchy and it still sounds cool, especially like with new wave music.
And all they were really doing was altering instruments to get a different sound out of it. Especially, what's that called when they have the tube on the like you get that wow.
I know sound. What you're talking about. I can't remember,
but I think it's like they have a tube attached to either the microphone or the guitar. So basically, like the sound will come through the tube into the microphone as they're playing the guitar, and they can manipulate the sound. So if you play a guitar strum like whoa, you can move your mouth and go whoa whoa whoa. But that's why you have those little bars that you have on guitars now.
Yeah.
That's where it came from, because in original guitar you didn't have those.
It was guitars. What is it called? Not treble. It's like I forgot the name, but I know what you're talking about because I have my Stratocaster and yeah.
Because before original guitars, you just had the string. you just had the strings and the amp connector, and that's it. And the things to tune at the top, and that's it. I appreciate the experimental sound that they had in the 80s. How everything was. Well, let's try this. Well, shit, let's plug this into each other and see what the hell we get out of it. You know?
I mean, I just like that type of stuff. I feel like now, like, everybody lacks creativity. And what's crazy? Like, there are some people who will mix, like, modern songs and make it sound like it's from the 80s. And it sounds so... Like, I'll sit there and listen to that. Like, they did something for Gautier, Ariana Grande, like... And I was sitting there jamming. Whereas the original, I may be like, okay, I've had enough. But with the 80s remix, I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Yeah.
So let's maneuver over from music and go to fashion.
Ooh.
I love some fashion now. So let's talk about some fashion. What is the first thing you think of when you hear 80s fashion?
Sweatsuits. I live for a sweatsuit now. Those baggy sweatsuits with them big bulky New Balance sneakers and the windbreakers. Oh my God, that's when I hear 80s or 90s, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Love it.
Go ahead.
Also, close to what I'm wearing today. The dress shirts, the sunglasses, the high-waisted jeans, which they no longer sell for men, thank the Lord, and the dress shoes.
I was thinking about the jeans, yeah.
My jeans? Don't judge my jeans.
No, the high-waisted jeans.
Honestly, I would probably rock a pair now, if I could find them.
Any jeans that's, like, go like this.
Those like bell-bottoms?
Oh, I have a pair of bell-bottoms.
Those are okay, but I'm talking about, like, regular jeans.
Going, like, straight leg?
Yeah.
They're disgusting.
Oh, my God. I will throw up, literally on you. When I think of 80s fashion, I think of the hair.
Big hair.
Big, crazy, messy rat hair.
Rat. Well, that's what it was called, too. They called it ratted hair, yeah.
Also, the bright colors that they wear. And the leg warmers.
Aerobics.
That's something I will still wear today. Like, I love a good leg warmer moment.
Oh my god, the exercise classes.
The aerobics.
Yes.
That's whenever I thought of 80s, oh my god, I have a picture of me dressed like an 80s grandmother.
We love that.
And I had on the leggings. I had on like a
with the
leggings and the leg warmers and the chunky sneakers and the fanny pack. That was me.
Oh my god. You know what I mean? I have like 3 fanny packs. I just don't wear them because I have enough gut as it is.
Gut. I just loved 80s fashion. And I also loved like the goth, like, oh my goodness. The messy look. Like, whenever I look at, like, The Cure, and I just see them wearing these, like, big, puffy cotton blouses that are all tattered and, you know, the messy makeup, like, I love it. It's so much, it's so extra.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But even, like, the business fashion, like, I think what is like with the shoulder pads,
the shoulder pads,
and the
heels, and the kitten, the pointy toe, the tiny pointy heel.
Yes, I remember my grandmother used to have shoes like those. Oh my goodness, they were so weird. And then when you put them on, they look slightly decent. But I was like, my ankles swell. That would never look good on me. But it looked good on somebody. And I think the 80s was the rise of the stilettos.
Really?
Yeah. I like that. And the rocker fishnets.
Oh yeah, fishnets.
I love a good fishnets. Yes. Leather, everything.
Now, do you think 80s fashion is making a comeback? Or
yes.
could it make a comeback?
The 90s fashion already made a comeback.
90s fashion made a comeback, and 80s fashion will definitely make a comeback. Like, I can see it. Like, the colors already, like, with bright colors and stuff, and certain patterns. The Cosby sweaters. It looks like 80s is making a comeback.
Now, why is the 80s such an important how would you say it? Moment in history? Time period. Why do you think the 80s was such an important time period to remember in today's world?
Because I feel like it kind of set the tone for the 90s. And the 90s was like iconic. And it was just, I feel like maybe it was the first time maybe everyone was kind of distracted from what was really going on a little bit. I mean, we did have a jacked up president in the 80s. What was it?
Reagan.
And, whoa, sorry. Now that we're talking about it, I just rose up from the dead. I think it was such an iconic time because, one, the music kind of overshadowed what was going on, but then you had so much going on politically. You had the quote-unquote war on drugs, and we all knew really what that war on drugs was. It was just the war on black people. But that's another topic for another podcast. And it was just I feel like the culture was just trying to distract from what was going on because it was such a dark time. You had to be what?
I was thinking of the word. Go ahead.
You had to be like it was kind of like a distraction. Like you had to be over the top. You had to be outrageous. It was also the time of who can do the most. Like, and who could be the most outrageous, who could be... I think everyone was just looking for something new. Because you have Pete Burns with him being androgynous. That was never seen before.
Yeah, it was the start
and Boy George,
too.
yeah.
Boy George, all of them. I mean, RuPaul...
Michael Jackson.
Well, RuPaul, he was in the club scene in the 80s, the New York club scene in the 80s. Because when did his first single come out? 92?
Yeah.
Supermodel. Sorry. So he was in the club scene. So you had everyone. I think it was just the time for change. Everyone wanted something new. They needed something new. And I just think it was so iconic because there were so many things that were introduced then that we still do and use now. That is just like, whoa, that was a time.
How about you, Zen? Why is it so important for us to remember the 80s?
Well, because I feel like sometimes a lot of what we go through now is very similar to like the 80s. Like, for example, the mass production of technology
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was really big in the 80s, like, with all these phone companies and computers and, like, putting technology in workplaces and businesses and, you know, the obsession with looking professional but also looking, like, casual and laid back. Like, a lot of this I see recycled into our generation. Like, everybody's walking around with a cell phone, everybody's, like, involved in technology, everybody's trying to promote themselves, secure the bag and all of that. Like, I feel like it's important to sort of respect that period and look back on it.
Absolutely.
And for me, I just like to immerse myself in it and pretend like I was actually there. Maybe I was, who knows?
Live that fantasy.
Right.
Live that fantasy. I love it. I love to like dress sometimes in either 80s wear or 90s or whatever. Just live that fantasy and just live your life. Just do whatever you want to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We will be back after the break.
Love that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zen The Podcast. And unfortunately, we have come to the end of this episode.
But don't worry, we will be back next week with new things to talk about. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And ring that notification bell to be notified when we release a new episode.
Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Zen The Podcast. And turn on your notifications there so you'll be notified when we release our next episode.
So yeah, we thank our returning guest of honor, Nasir.
Yeah, Nasir.
Yes. For being here with us. Tell us where we can follow you, of course.
Well, if you want to follow me, which you should because I'm a quality human being, you can follow me on Instagram at KVNGNAS1. My Twitter is NASALI0129. And my Snapchat is KVNG_NAS1.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us, Nasir.
You're welcome anytime.
Yes. Thank you for coming back. And we thank you guys so much for listening to Zen the Podcast with me, Sirg.
And me, Zenobia.
And we hope you have a wonderful week. Okay?
Like, totally.
Totally, dude.
Okay. Peace
Bye.
out. Signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.